But what I want to do is actually really talk about sunscreen. Okay. In Canada, these are not available yet, but we have the option of getting them through Agnes, Star Master Agnes, and also from Esther, because these are so important that every one of us need to be using them, but you need to use the right kind. Because there's some sunscreens that are not beneficial. I'm just going to speakerphone, not beneficial and actually can be harmful. But you need to understand why we need sunscreen, what the difference between ultraviolet B radiation, ultraviolet A radiation, and what does each of them do, and why certain sunscreens are actually more harmful than good. Okay, so Atomy carries actually two sunscreens depending on the country. For instance, in the US, they carry the regular sunscreen, this one, and then this is the absolute part. This is a sunscreen from the Absolute line, which is I believe was released very recently, just in the last year, I believe, year maybe 2 years. I can't quite remember the date, but this is incredible in that it has the highest amount of protection. Plus, it was developed specifically to work with makeup, so that you can put it on, especially for your face, because it's an absolute, part of the Absolute line, just like the spot outs, etc. It's not in the Absolute set, but it is part of the line, and they will continue to develop more products in the line, which is for that are high-end set. Going to turn my phone off because I don't want okay. All right, so most of you are, I bet, very familiar with these sunscreens, and we have a way of getting them even though they're not available in Canada. One of the reasons why sunscreen is not available here in Canada is because of the SPF factor. These sunscreens have 50 SPF, sun protection factor. And in Canada, when a product has more than 50 or more SPF, it's considered a drug. And so then you need a special DIN number, drug identification number. And that takes a long time. It's very time consuming and costly. And so Atomy has said that's going to take too long. So that's why it hasn't been available in Canada. But it's available in the US and almost every other country that I know of. And the Absolute one, which is a much higher grade and more recent, it's not available in a lot of countries yet. But I did find it in Singapore. That's where I got the information for to do today's presentation. So you need to look at different countries because different countries have different products. And if you want more information, then you can check that. All right, so let's deep dive in. I need to first, I'm going to just share my screen because I need to go over what the difference, actually I don't need to share the screen, difference between SPF and PA factor. I think we understand the difference, and most people don't. Everybody's heard of SPF, right? SPF 30, SPF 50, SPF 100, etc. SPF stands for sun protection factor. That really doesn't say much. But SPF protects you from ultraviolet B radiation. There's two types of ultraviolet radiation that we need to be careful that's coming from the sun. There's ultraviolet A radiation, there's ultraviolet B radiation, and they affect us differently. So once you understand that, then you'll see why these are so amazing and why most of the sunscreens you are using now from Costco or the drugstores, etc., are not actually protecting you where it's the most important. So let's go to what does ultraviolet A radiation do and what does ultraviolet B radiation do? Ultraviolet B, I'm going to start with the B because that's what you're most familiar with, most likely. from the sunscreens. Ultraviolet B radiation burns us. Okay, that kind of radiation burns our skin. It's no different than when you have a hot stove, and if you get too close, even if you actually don't touch the element, that the heat, that type of burning is what ultraviolet B radiation do. So the sun protection factor protects us from burning, which is good, right? So it protects us from burning, but ultraviolet A radiation actually doesn't burn us, so you can't tell. But ultraviolet A radiation has a ultraviolet A radiation. Actually, I need to just ultraviolet A radiation. Sorry, I'm just coming through. I'm just going to actually just stop this recording for now. I'm just gonna... All right, so let's go back to, so you know now what SPF factor does, right? It prevents us from burning when we're in the sun too long, which is a good thing. But just the sunscreen with SPF factor only protects us from burning. It does not protect us from the A radiation, which is the most important protection we need. The ultraviolet A radiation actually is what damages our skin. It doesn't burn, you can't feel it, but it's what damages deeper down, and you won't know the effects of it until it's at least maybe 5 to 10 years later. That ultraviolet A radiation is what increases our risk of skin cancers. Ultraviolet B radiation doesn't. You'll burn and you'll heal, and that's it. Just like if you burn your hand on the stove, hot stove, you know, you get the blister, etc. You heal, but it doesn't increase your risk of cancer. Ultraviolet A radiation does, okay? And that is the most important thing that we need to protect ourselves from, but that is what most sunscreens don't have, the protection from the A radiation. And this is critical that you understand this and that you actually educate your partners and your family and friends. Because people are lathering on sunscreen, you know, SPF 100, 150, thinking it's protecting them, but all it's doing is just protecting their from burning. But they're not getting any protection from the A radiation. Because the sunscreens that have the protection for A radiation are very, very expensive and most likely will not be sold in regular stores like drugstores or Costco, etc. Because what protects us from the A radiation are the mineral sunscreens, which means they actually reflect the A radiation off our skin so it doesn't get absorbed. So the mineral sunscreens are like zinc oxide. You've all heard of zinc oxide, I'm sure, because zinc oxide is what makes you white. The sunscreen, the whiteness in the sunscreen, and a lot of surfers will put it on their nose and you'll see the white part. That is pure zinc oxide. Problem with zinc oxide is it's very sticky and it's white, and nobody likes to have like pale white skin if they put too much zinc oxide on. A better mineral sunscreen is titanium dioxide. Titanium dioxide doesn't make you white, and it's a very good reflector of your skin. Okay, again, I have to pause this. Okay, so I was talking about the mineral sunscreens, titanium dioxide and zinc oxide. The best protection is titanium dioxide, but it's very, very expensive. So the sunscreens that actually will give you that protection from the A radiation to prevent damage and prevent risk of skin cancer are the sunscreens that are usually found in very high-end skincare spas and dermatologist offices, because they're probably about 4 or 5 times more expensive than the typical ones that are in the drugstores or Costco or Walmart. So for instance, this particular sunscreen, which is the basic sunscreen from Atomy, is, if you take a look, you know the SPF factor already, 20 to 30, 50, 100, but you're probably not aware of the PA factor. If your sunscreen, if you look at the box, if it says SPF 50, but then if it doesn't have a PA factor, and PA factors go by pluses, +1, +2, +3, +4. +4 is the highest protection from the A radiation. And every plus extra makes the sunscreen very, very expensive. So if your sunscreen does not have any PA factor, even though it says broad spectrum, that's a marketing term which means nothing, because even as long as they have one little drop of the titanium dioxide or the zinc oxide, they can call it a broad spectrum because there is some in it. But if they don't actually have a PA factor on the box, it means it's not enough to give you any kind of protection, because that's standardized. It's a Japanese standardized version. So each plus means you have a certain amount of protection. So the Atomy regular sunscreen, which is available in the US and almost every other country other than Canada at this point, has SPF 50 and PA 3+. This is the one that I started to use probably about 6 or 7 years ago, when I believe it came out. I got it from my sister. She sent it from Korea. And previous to that, I was using the regular sunscreens because we didn't have any, and I had a lot of problems with melasma, you know, the dark patches a lot of Asians and Indian women get, especially after pregnancies. And no matter what, and it's triggered by hormone changes, but it's really worsened by a lot of sun. And I do a lot of horseback riding, and I spend a lot of time in the sun, sometimes 4 to 5 hours. And no matter what sunscreen I put on, this dark and red kept getting worse. And so there's nothing I could do because I wanted to keep riding. So I would just put on lots of makeup. But once I started using this particular sunscreen about seven years ago, when I got it from Esther, within a couple of years, the dark spots start to go away, along with using all my Atomy skincare products. But the dark, it was spots were going away, and now there's only maybe about 10% left. So that told me that the PA factor, the sunscreen for the A radiation, I was actually now getting protection. Okay, so this is critical if you have any kind of sun affected problems. Also the age spots, etc. You use the regular sunscreen, you're not gonna be protected from that, because that's damage to your skin, and it comes over time. It's not burning, it's damage. You have to have protection from the A radiation. You also get radiation from actually lighting indoors as well. Okay, so what I wanted to tell you about these is that even if you can't get it in Canada, get it from Agnes or Star Master or whoever, and you must use this to prevent damage to your skin. You're doing lots of things like the absolute set and peels and masks, but if you don't prevent more damage, all of that is going to be really very tough for you to reverse. You need to stop damage first, and then the reversal will happen much faster. Same with the spot outs, etc. This is the key. And a lot of our products have the PA factor in it. The BB cream has the PA factor too, which is great. It's SPF 30 and PA2. The Healthy Glow Base is the same. It has PA factor of 2 and SPF 30. So you can layer it so you'll have more protection. If you don't have this, you use those two products, at least you'll get this, protection from the radiation. But this would be the very first thing after you do your nutrition cream. This would be, I consider this the last step of my skin care. And then I would put the glow base on and the BB cream if I needed it. But at least I have this on every day, whether I'm going to be outside or not. And then usually I'll do glow base and BB cream because I want as much protection as possible because of my history of melasma. So any of you that you know, anybody with melasma, this is critical, okay? And I'm going to tell you about, and with Atomy sun products, the sunscreen, not only you get the protection, and they're non-carcinogenic, non-toxic sunscreens. So that's really, really important. What they use for the B radiation, the SPF factors, are the safe sunscreens, and the A radiation protection, the mineral sunscreens, they're totally safe because they don't get absorbed into your skin. The rays actually reflect off and bounce off, and these just sit in the skin, and then they easily removed. Okay, so let's talk about, and the Atomy sunscreens are incredible because they put a whole bunch of herbs in as well. You can see on the listing if you go to the websites. You can go to the American websites to see all the different herbs. It's about 10 or different herbs that are in here. Just like our BB cream, just like our glow base, they put all of these amazing herbs in. So it's therapeutic at the same time as protecting your skin. Okay, because that's the beauty of Atomy. They don't just do the minimum, they do the maximum. That's what you call absolute quality. So with this one, this is part of our absolute line. So it also has very high, very expensive, very functional products. You know the Derma Real Cica, its main ingredient is Centennial asiatica. They have that in here. So not only does it protect you from the A and B radiation, especially the A, but there's ingredients here, herbs, specifically for protecting your skin, brightening your skin. All of the brightening codes that's in your absolute set is also in here as well. Okay, so you're getting a lot more than just sun protection. It's another part of the brightening codes, and any redness, etc., will also help reduce that as well, because of the Cica, it will help correct and help heal. All right, so it's just more than just sun protection. And the cost factor is incredible. I'm going to tell you, this particular one is what I use actually for the rest of my body. This I use specifically for my face. All right, the Atomy Absolute I use specifically for my face and neck. This, if I need to, I'll use it for the rest of my body. I'm not concerned about the rest of my body. It's mostly my face. But this was the first sunscreen I used, and it was the only one I had. So I used it on my face as well before the Absolute was released. But cost-wise, I have a lot of friends who have skin facilities, spas, aesthetic clinics, and they have sunscreens like this, Dr. Renaud's and other very high-end skincare products. That my girlfriend has one of these, which is 40 milliliters. This one is 60, 40 milliliters, and PA3. Okay, so it's smaller than this, and the PA factor is the same, and it doesn't have all of those amazing herbs that Atomy sunscreen has, but she sells it for $68. Okay, for something that is 20 milliliters less than this one. Okay, this is $13 here in Canada if we bring it in. In the US, I believe it's like $9, something like that. Incredibly cheap. Okay, and all right, so I'm just going to pause this and resume. All right, so cost factor. So This is what I was using first, and then cost me, I believe, $13 when I got it. And the technology also Atomy has, you need very little and it disperses amazingly well. So just a little bit and that's all you'll need, all right? This product, I tried to find something equivalent with respect to other products that had the 4+ and the kind of ingredients in here. And the one that's closest I found was Dior, which is a very high-end skincare product. And 30 milliliter tube, okay? This is a 40 milliliter. Our absolute is 40 milliliters. A 30 milliliter tube, Dior was $172 US. And that is typical of something of this quality with the 4+. This is 4+. Just upping it from 3+ to 4+ will increase the cost factor by about $100. That's the difference. It's an exponential protection. And that's assuming you can actually find something with 4+. You'll have a hard time finding something with 4+, right? And as I said, most of this you'll get in the dermatologist's office, and usually it's for people who's already had skin cancer. A lot of dermatologists say, if you don't use the proper sunscreen, don't even come see me, because that's the number one, is you need to use the one with the PA protection. This here in Canada, including, you know, importing fees, et cetera, it's $20. Can you imagine $20? That tells you how much things are being marked up, okay? And so that's the beauty of the Atomy products, is that they will give you something this amazingly high quality and high function at a fraction of the cost that most other people will have to pay. And once somebody tries this, they know immediately the difference, and that they can actually, one of the things about the Atomy sunscreen too, is that you don't need to reapply. It's actually good for 25 hours, which is unheard of. Now in the literature on the website, it says here, they say apply every 3 to 4 hours. They have to say that for legal purposes, but I never reapply. Once I have it on and I put my makeup on, how are you going to reapply when you have makeup on, right? And same with for my skin. Once I've got it on, I'm out all day long, etc. I don't worry. I'll give you a good example. And everybody has said that they couldn't believe they didn't burn, they got a nice tan, but they didn't even reapply. My daughter Kate, she's very, very fair because she's half Irish, and we can put this on her around 9 o'clock in the morning. And in Florida sun is very hot. When we visited, we went to Clearwater Beach. It took about an hour to get there, and she stayed out in the sun, in and out of the water, and we left at 4:30. No burn and no reapply. This is also waterproof, but it will wash off perfectly, beautifully with just body wash or our skincare, like our deep cleanser or foam cleanser. Very easy wash as soon as you use any kind of soap. Okay. Also sweat proof. Sweat proof, waterproof, etc. One application. That's really, really important, because it's hard to reapply, especially when you're wet and sweaty. Try to put sunscreen on. It's quite a mess. So there's a lot of benefits to it. All right. So I'm going to just stop this for now. Let me share the screen. Okay. See here. This. Okay. It's going to go full screen. Oops. All right, so before I go on to talk on the next topic, does anybody have any questions about the sunscreens? Because I went into pretty in depth, because it's really, really important, because most people don't know this. And so they go, well, why should I, switch? Well, first thing, yep, Maria?
So if we would like for some to our clients, where do we get it?
Well, Agnes, our Star Master in Toronto, she gets them from Korea. She gets them sent to Korea. And Olivia, I mean, she's Cheryl's master, so she orders lots from Agnes as well. So I just got a whole shipment of them. And so I usually get them from Agnes. So you know, I always make sure I have enough of them. When I'm running out, I'll have Agnes order some extra for me from Korea. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah, so you contact me and I'll see if we have in our group, if we have it, then we'll get it to you. Even if you ship it is so inexpensive
Sure.
because for what you get, right? Right. Any other questions? Yep, thank you.
Usually says the size of the coin, that amount that apply. So still, I don't know how thick should apply.
Okay, let me show you, okay? So, for instance, you see this?
Yeah.
You see that? Now, I'm going to put it on my arm, all right? And that will cover basically from here to there. That's here to there, and that's covered. That little bit, all right? So you put too much, you have to keep going because there's so much. It's the Atomy dispersion technology, which is amazing. And same with this, which is what I use first. So people go, oh, that's too small, because people are used to a sunscreen like in a big bottle, right? But this is what I do. When I do my arm, that's all do you see this? That? And that is all I need to do basically from here to there. Right, like on this side. That's it. Just a thin line and it will disperse amazing. And you can feel where the sunscreen is, and then it just feels like lotion as well. Okay, so you need to like try it to see how little you can use. Now, do not forget to put sunscreen on your hands. Okay, because your age, people will see from your neck and your hands. And when you drive, your left side is always getting more sun. This is why most people have more cancers, etc., on the left side of their face. So make sure you put on your hands. The left side is really important because we drive on the left side. So right side is more protected. But I always put on my hands. So once I do my face, I'll just do my hand as well. A little bit is really enough. So a little goes a long way, and people don't realize it. They go, oh, that's such a small little thing, because I'm used to using so much. This will last a long time. So not only is it inexpensive, but it is incredibly concentrated. And the technology, dispersion technology, is really, really important. So those of you who, yep, Andrew?
When you use, I know a lot of people likes the Atomy sunscreen. The thing is, they said really when it's getting to the eyes, they have a burning feeling, but Atomy does not. So that's why they like it. But I noticed the regular Atomy sunscreen, it really not kind of when you get into the eyes, it's okay. It doesn't burning feeling, but absolute essence sunscreen, it is. When you go into the eyes, it really burns. So what kind of ingredient makes that it's not, it is?
It's because it has the absolute, you know, your skincare set, it has those ingredients in it. So this is part of the absolute line. Okay, so you might want to put it around, but maybe if you want to have the sunscreen around your eyes, use your regular, because the doorman and the Sika and all the potent functional ingredients, they may irritate your eyes.
I
Right?
see.
Yeah, so that's the difference. Whereas this one doesn't. It has your basic herbs, etc., but not like this. So it's very good for your skin, but if you're sensitive, it may
Yes, yes.
irritate your eyes. So just do around, but not too close to your eyes. Okay? Yep.
You mentioned because you are very outdoor active, active, and you
Mhm.
have some darker kind of spot. Now I know that you have the. Can you spell out the name?
Well,
The one you have a
condition, yeah, it's called melasma. Let me just actually, I'm gonna share the screen and I'm gonna show you. Actually, look it up so you can. I go here. Oh, share screen. Zip the screen. Okay, so here, if I go to. For instance, melasma. That's how you spell it, okay? So I'm just gonna go, what is melasma? Okay, and we'll give you some examples. Melasma is a skin condition characterized by brown or blue-gray patches or freckle-like spots, often called mask of pregnancy, because a lot of this starts with hormones during pregnancy. And it happens because there's overproduction of the cells that make the color of your skin. So this is why it affects more darker colored people with darker skin, like Asians and Indians. It's not very common in very light, fair-skinned people. Melasma, let's see, because of overproduction cells that make the color of your skin, it's common, harmless, and some treatments may help. But some people, and then what happens is that the sun makes these cells produce the dark pigment more, right? So it will make it worse. So if you take a look at this one, oops, let me just see. You see this, right? And it's usually around the cheek area. And some people, it's everyone see that one. That's what that's which one here? I have it here. This is what mine look like. You see that? Right? So it's not age spot, it's actually from under the skin. And the spot out will help this because the spot out cream will actually prevent, if there's more of those pigment made because of the sun, it will actually prevent it from coming up to the surface, one of the ingredients. So I was really bad like this, and I need to use a lot of makeup to try to even out my skin. So now it's just visible, and all I do right now is I just use the BB cream, and then I might use the Air Pack 3 just to flatten out, the shine, because I don't particularly like the shine. But this became much less when I started to use the Atomy sunscreen, because before I was using the best sunscreen I could find here, and nothing worked. And when you're in the sun, without the proper protection, it turns really red afterwards, and then it goes really dark within a day or two. And so, and that was like 13 years ago. And you see how it gets red here? That's usually the first stage, and then it'll turn dark, right? So this doesn't look too good. So these people need to be using this proper sunscreen. And I'm going to show you here sunscreen. Okay, one of the things, oops. So you see the Alpha sunscreen has the sunscreen, the protection, but it has all of these other ingredients. So this is what might be irritating your eyes when you get it close. Okay, because it's got this brightening coat, pochulaca, and then the Asiatic pennywort extract. It's got this antenna, so it will also heal and reduce the redness. That's what the Sita will do. Okay. And oops. One thing here, let me just see, we go back. And this is how sunscreens work. You have two types. One sunscreen will absorb the ultraviolet radiation, and the other type of sunscreen will reflect it. So the ones that are being absorbed are the ones that's going to prevent you from burning. So that sunscreen actually absorbs the ultraviolet B, and the mineral sunscreen, the more expensive sunscreen, is going to actually have the ultraviolet A reflect back off your skin. Okay, so the main ingredients, the functions is full of moisture and brightness, smooth application without stickiness, and smooth texture. So when you put makeup on, that's both of them are actually very good, but the Absolute is much better because of they have the higher technology. Okay, right? Any other questions? Yep, Tom.
Yeah, I have a question about Essence. So because I know Essence is a high quality product. So before apply that, should I use nutrition cream or another cream to protect my skin?
Okay, and what's your question?
That's do I need to use another nutrition cream before I apply the essence, the sunscreen essence?
Well, nutrition cream is part of your skin care. It doesn't have any sun protection. Okay, so you would do all the sets, whether your toner and then your ampule, etc., and then last will be a nutrition cream. Nutrition cream is more for the tightening effect and all the other functions, but you would then use the essence right after you finish the nutrition cream. And then you would finish it up with either the BB cream, or you might want it, or the glow base, right? So that's up to you, but this will give you the maximum protection.
That's the last step, right?
Yeah, last step of your actual skin care. Okay?
Thank you.
All right, so I gathered you. All right, everyone, let's have your video off or on, whatever it might be. Okay, Lenka, let's just see. Okay, Vanda, all right.
I'm hiding.
You're hiding again. Okay, I know you had a mask on. Okay, so say Atomy forever. Awesome, done. All right, any other questions? Okay, Sungju?
Yeah, it's amazing. You're so outdoor activities is really, so the very seriously it's shown now is very light. So have you done any other besides using Atomy products? Have you done any? Wow, it's amazing.
Nothing worked. I went to all my friends that who has a skincare spot. I used to work in one in Milton, right? And they couldn't do anything for me. Everything, whatever creams or whatever they gave me didn't work. The only thing was I needed to prevent it from happening. There was nothing that could prevent it, right? And so I started to use my Forset, right? Because I heard that could help. I did the masks every day when I could, but it's this that really prevented it. It's the prevention. It took about 2 years. It just got lighter and lighter, but I still rode. I would be in the sun for a good 4 or 5 hours, because when I do my riding, and the only thing that's exposed is my face, because I have a jacket on, I have a tie on. This is it, and my helmet just has a little peak, so doesn't come low. So my face was always exposed, and when I would come back, it would be bright red, and then the next day or two, then it would get really dark. So I just thought, well, this is going to be the way it will be the rest of my life. And then when I found the Atomy sunscreen, that's when things start to change. Now you can, when you see close, you can still see a little bit, but it's very light. And all I've got right now on is BB cream, and nothing else. Okay, BB cream.
Well, that's a six, like a kind of health. It's a symbol of like you look healthy. Like it's kind of, I don't know. You look very healthy. Like it shows.
That's it. Well, that's the key, right? healthy inside with Himmelham and all of the supplements, and healthy outside with all of our skincare products that you can't lose. Okay. All right. Any other questions? Oh, Carmen?
Yeah, how about that is spot out cream?
Spot out cream. I use that as soon as the spot outs came on. I used the essence and I used the cream because I'm going to show you. I was actually going to talk about that. Let me just share my screen. Okay. I've got it ready here. Spot out essence. Okay. I'm going to go right to. Now you have to remember the spot out is not for melasma. Okay. It's for brown spots, damaged skin that's causing these brown spots. This is different than melasma. Melasma is underneath excess production of the pigment. But what the spot out does, you see this, lady? Look at that, 1 year of using this. And the key is, if you really have a lot of spots, you need to use both to get the maximum effect. The essence was the first one that was introduced. I'm going to show you what it does here. It has 6 steps, all right? And it's amazing, the technology. The essence and the cream, the first 2, 3 steps, the third step, the 3 steps is identical, but it's step 4, 5, and 6 that's different. And I'm going to go over that. So the first step is brightening coat. So these are all ingredients that's already in our absolute, but it's also in the in both the spot out cream and the essence. And so brightening is critical. Second thing is it's actually this alpha bisibolo, it's from this tree from South America, Candida tree. And what it actually does is it prevents forming of the melanin enzymes, okay? So which means this enzyme called tyrosinase, it prevents the dark spots from occurring. So you want to minimize the formation of the melanin. So third thing is actually stops the activity again of this enzyme, which increases the dark pigment. So second and third is to try to slow down, and this is with glabridin, okay, plant-based natural skin whitener agent extracted from licorice. So it's a product from licorice, but it inhibits the production of this tyrosinase. But in the 4th step of the essence, you got this ethyl ascorbic acid, all right, which helps to it's a type of vitamin C. Oh, question, does BB cream have SPF factor? Yes, it has SPF 30 and it has PA factor of 2. So I use the sunscreen plus you'd use a BB cream and that will give you layers of protection. So when I go out riding and I'm out there for 5 hours, I will use this, the absolute. Then I will put the well, ingredients are on the bottle because there's no room, but it will be actually on the website. If you go on the website, either the US or the Canadian, you'll see every single ingredient. The American website tends to have a lot more information. So I tend to get a lot of my information from the US website. This stuff is in both websites. So let me just see. Where am I? Okay. Let's just okay, we'll go to next. So this one actually helps to speed up the turnover, exfoliates, meaning turn over the cells. Beta hydroxy acid, BHA. It's like it's just like salicylic acid. It's the same family, and it helps to actually turn over your cells quicker, exfoliates the dead cells, and so improves the skin tone. And this 6th step is actually improves the dark spots by these 2 ingredients. And this is actually a patented ingredient. The luminescent is a patented ingredient that imparts shine to dull, rough skin, and the dark spots are going to be greatly reduced. And this carnosine, the relaxation of the dull skin. So total care. So this is more for actually the actual reduction of the spots that's already there. So there's stuff to prevent and there's stuff to take care of things that are already there. Your skin is continually producing. But the spot out cream, I'm going to go here. These are the differences. The essence, so 4, 5, 6, step 4, 5, 6 is different with the cream. So let's go back. So step 1, 2, 3 are the same. Step 4 here, this is a really amazing technology. This is why they call the spot out cream like magic cream. Because what this will do is that it prevents, even when the body makes these extra melanin, the pigment, it minimizes it coming up to the surface so that you don't see it. Okay, so it prevents it. So if you look at this study, here spot reduction effects, melanosome production ratio, 35% less than the control group and this other product. And spot reduction effect, 10% reduction after 8 weeks compared to, I can't see this here. Let's see. After compared to the control group. So there's definitely a change in the way things look. And step number 5, this is why there's a star. It's different from the essence. Stimulate epidermal cell turnover by activating skin neurotransmitter system. Again, research indicates a 30% change in the skin turnover. So the faster skin turns over, the nicer your skin will look. It's about 20% improvement in skin radiance compared to using actually glycolic acid. This is compared to glycolic acid, which is quite harsh for your skin. And this NeuroBX is actually is a patented process. Yarrow root, but they make it so that it's 30% more improvement than using glycolic acid. Step 6, this is an unusual, interesting thing. What it does is this particular substance, the IBR TCLC, natural carotenoids, and which are called phytoin and phytofluents. What it does, it's like photoshopping your face. So what it does is it will actually absorb certain kinds of color light, which when people look at you, they see a difference here, okay? So measures the chromaticity, so different wavelengths of light. For instance, when you see white, because what's the word? So black absorbs all the wavelengths of light and white doesn't absorb any. So that's the difference, is that it's all the different wavelengths of different light depending on what you see. So if you see blue, it means all the other wavelengths actually are not there and you see the blue wavelengths. So let me just see under light, I can never say this, phytoin and phytofluent absorb ultraviolet A and ultraviolet B respectively, reflects green light that minimizes redness. So look at this lady. So because it's absorbed this and it will actually reflect green light back, you see less red. So when you want if you have a lot of red, you tend to use a green tint makeup, which then makes the red disappear. So this is like photoshopping your face, which is incredible. So how to use this? Firstly, let's spot out essence. So if you have issues with age spots, the essence is a lotion. You should use it right after your ampule, okay? And the cream, you should use it right after your lotion. So you got your toner, ampule, then you use the essence, spot out essence, then you would use your serum, then you use your lotion for moisturizing, then the cream comes in there, and then you put your eye cream and nutrition cream afterwards. Then you would use this. It seems like a lot of steps, but it doesn't take a long time.
So, is this room going to come and talk to you?
All right, so let me just get out of this. Okay, and then let's stop the share. Okay, so I know it's a lot of information, but it's really important because most of the people that we talk to are very concerned about prevention. Prevention is the key. This is the most important prevention, okay? Even though we can't get it here in Canada, we have to do our best to get it to our people to make sure they don't keep producing damage, okay? And which is the most important, and prevent skin cancer later, okay? And then the spot out cream, spot out essence for, again, preventing the dark spots from occurring, but then it will also get rid of what's there over a period of about a year. It doesn't happen overnight. It's going to happen as the skin keeps turning over, there'll be less and less dark spots. So it takes about 3 to 4 weeks for one layer to turn over. Okay, so you think 3, you know, how many months? Within about 2 or 3 months, or even sooner, you will notice some change in the spots with the spot out cream and essence. Okay, and it's so inexpensive compared to what women go through. I mean, I spent thousands of dollars trying to get rid of this black spot. Nothing worked, so that went out the window. But just with daily use of a sunscreen and my, you know, $10 peel off mask, my skin has changed dramatically. My skin is better now at 58 than when I was in my 30s. And I attribute that to Himalayan for sure, but this stuff, the skincare products are just second to none. I would never ever use anything else. So, all right. So any other questions or any comments? Yeah.
My husband has a really bad pigment because he has, you know, it shows, you know, something, so he has operation, so, you know, really bad. And the pigment down under, he never wear the shorts because it shows.
Mhm.
But since I heard that, you know, I think it's from your group, she using that cream, spot out cream for
yeah.
that things almost 2 weeks. Now I noticed my husband also, after I told him that he using it, he wear the shorts now. So I'm just telling you. So he using a spot out cream with the EPF machine,
Mhm.
and it's lighter. So now he wear the shorts. That's how
Wow,
it
that's
works.
great. See? So, and spot out cream, I mean, men, women, right? Anybody. My
No,
brother,
his legs, yes.
yeah, but you can use it on his face if he cares about it. If he doesn't, fine. A lot of men are also very vain, right? But they think, oh, there's nothing I can do. But once they realize something can work, it's for everyone. My brother used to have kind of fairly large spot right here, like an age spot. And he started to use the spot out essence when it first came out. And I think within about 6 weeks, he said it really noticed a difference.
Wow.
Weeks. So the spot, but it's not for melasma. It's for spot, like the production of the age spots. Okay. But one of the ingredients in the cream, remember I said it prevents the pigment from coming up. So that is also going to be very helpful for people with melasma. That's why I use that. I don't have age spots per se, but I want to make sure I can prevent it. My goal is to prevent. I want to look like this when I'm 88 and I still want to ride, right? Why not, right? I'm still going to ride unless I can get on a horse. If then I'll just have somebody put me on it. But but you know, it's possible. Why not? Because every year your body is a new body. Because we replace every single cell except the brain cells. So you got to make sure you take your Himalayan and your B vitamins to keep your brain cells good. But all our cells have been replaced within a year. So sometimes you're going to get younger if you do these things to actually help every cell. That's replaced. See, when the old cell dies, a new one has to replace it. If the new one is just as sick as the old one, guess what? You're going to keep getting sicker and older, etc. But if the new one is younger or healthier than the one that just died, you are technically getting younger. Even though chronologically you're older, you could be 90, but if your cells stay at 40, you're 40. That's called that's not your chronological age. That is your real age. You have 40-year-olds that look and act and think like 60-year-olds or 90-year-olds. And you have 70-year-olds that look and act and think like 40-year-olds. So which one you want to be? It's up to you. Okay. So, Carmen?
And Dr. Anna, I just want to clarify and where you can get that. What's the difference between the dark spot and the melasma?
Oh,
Are they not the same?
Yeah, no, they're not the same. Okay, melasma is a condition usually like Filipinos, any Orientals, Asians. We have a lot of melanocytes that make melanin, which makes us darker, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when let's say when there's a shift in hormones, it's usually when we get pregnant. That's why it's mostly women that are affected, that it can trigger the hormones to sort of make some of those cells make too much, too fast, the dark pigment. So instead of all the pigments, all the melanocytes making pigment at the same time and dying in pigment, right? So that we're even, some of them go crazy and they make 2 or 3 times more. So one area is going to have too much dark spot where the other ones are lighter. So it's usually triggered by hormone changes. That's why women, when they're pregnant, they call it the pregnancy mask because it looks like you have a mask on. Okay, so but then it's hard to control afterwards. Some people, it will die down once their hormones are under control. Others, it just keeps getting stimulated by the sun, because the sun, remember, we tan because the sun affects our ability to make the pigment, right? So when the sun hits a normal pigment, we get a nice tan. The sun hits that crazy cell, it makes too much. And that's why you're getting dark black, right? Whereas a age spot is from damage from the sun. Okay, and so age spots are a lot easier to get rid of actually than melasma, because melasma is actually the way the cell functions. You could probably have it the rest of your life. You have to be careful. That's why I do everything to prevent the sun. It's the sun that's going to trigger it now. My hormones are okay, but those cells are still very sensitive to overproducing of the pigment when sun hits it. So I have to be really careful. I do everything I can to minimize the effect of that. Okay. Any other questions? Or about anything else?
I just want to comment. So we can, you saying we can do 20s again.
We're aging backwards. Right? The absolute set is a de-aging set, right? If your wrinkles go away and your skin gets tighter, guess what? You are aging backwards. I always say to people, I feel and I look better than when I was in my 30s, and I'm not. So I have more energy now than I did when I was in my 30s. My skin wasn't as good as when I was in my 30s. And I'm 58. So how does that work? Right? So look at you. I mean, you look at the way you are now, and you look at the way you were 10 years ago. I bet you look and feel better now than you did 10 years ago.
Yes, I am.
You're younger. The time doesn't mean anything. As long as those cells are healthy and they're the healthiest possible, then technically you shouldn't age. I've had some people who went on with the Himalayan and they start to get their hair color back, and they have like gray hair. Oh, everyone, it affects people differently. But That's the key, is to keep your cells, every single, 50 trillion cells in your body, if each one of them stay healthy and young until they're ready to die, because there's a limit to what each cell